In today's video, we're going to be covering a very controversial subject matter when it comes to aim assist within Splitgate. I've seen this discussed on YouTube, I've seen it talked about on the Steam community forums, and I honestly thought it'd be perfect if I give my honest thoughts, feelings and opinions on this subject, considering that I play the game both ways on keyboard and mouse as well as controller, and I'm also an advocate of playing the way that makes you feel most comfortable. I'm not biased to one or the other, both have their pros and cons, and it definitely seems to be that way within Splitgate too. There are a few of you out there, and some have actually commented on my videos in the past, saying why would I even use a controller to play FPS? Because at this point we already know that keyboard and mouse is probably the definitive way of actually aiming, tracking targets and getting kills. However, because this is such a common point of view, and well, is probably a point of view that has been tested over and over again, and there's a lot of evidence that does actually say yes, keyboard and mouse is the superior way to aim, the developers of cross-platform games have to keep this in mind if they want to try and keep some balance within the game, especially in games like Splitgate with a longer time to kill where keeping on target is vital and important. Because of this, right out the gate I'm going to tell you that I am a believer that aim assist should actually be implemented within cross-platform games in order to help keep a fair fight. Yes, this is a form of compensation. Yes, if you're on keyboard and mouse and you're manually aiming and you're not getting assistance, then that does mean you're probably the more skilled player in the situation of where you go one-to-one. There's also that discussion of being able to strafe out the way a lot easier on keyboard and mouse, and the movement being a lot more fluent. Also in Splitgate, because of the portal mechanics, using portals is a lot more easier with the mouse aim than I think it is using a controller. There has been many of times where I've gone to portal using a controller and just about missed my actual target just because the way that sticks work. And this honestly becomes more vital in those situations where you are in gunfights and you are losing the gunfight and you know you're going to die if you don't move. With the keyboard and mouse you might be able to hit your target just a little bit faster, and you might be able to save yourself in a situation where someone on a controller wouldn't be able to do so. But then again, with all those advantages that I have talked about, it isn't the debate of whether the movement is too OP on keyboard and mouse. This is a debate on whether or not the aim assist is too powerful, and whether or not that actually makes up for the advantages of keyboard and mouse. I think the biggest advantage that I've come across when it comes to keyboard and mouse is the distance gunplay and being able to hit your long shots a lot more efficiently. Say if you use something like the sniper, or you're pinging people with the carbine. However, this is very situational, as the carbine and both the assault rifles when using it on controller are actually limited to an aim assist range. However, in Splitgate, most of the guns do suit their aim assist range, because for instance you wouldn't be using SMG or a shotgun to try and get long shots. That doesn't make sense. I do in fact personally feel like when the aim assist does kick in, it is very sticky, and this is where the argument of aim assist comes into it being abused, because as long as you're picking the right fights with the right gun, and especially if you can force the fight up close, your aim to a certain degree is always relatively going to be on point. And the real argument here is that it's more automated consistency in the situations where it's going to benefit the player most, because even the best keyboard and mouse player can sometimes, well, get a little bit run down with the aim and not be able to aim in a situation. They're not always going to be 100% consistent every time with every shot, and if they are, you're probably not going to find them in regular, well, casual game modes. So in this game I've had somewhere between 50 and 60 hours, all my time all the way up to the Halloween event that we've just done, which was actually in Splitgate playing customs, which there was a diversity of 3 controller players and 3 keyboard and mouse players. I've always played this game with crossplay on. Now for the game footage in this video, however, I actually turned off crossplay and used the controller, and everything that I've said about the up close gunfights with a controller is 100% true. I do feel there is a consistency advantage when it comes to up close combat, and I feel like there is an advantage of keeping steady when it comes to using your power weapons, especially on weapons like using the rocket launcher and also using the fantastic railgun, which is just my favorite gun. Also notably, I think the SMG is absolutely absolutely dirty when it comes to up close combat, and doing that with a controller and keeping consistently on, I do feel like I'm being a little bit unfair. I honestly do feel like they need to tweak the aim assist just a little bit, make it just a little bit weaker. It feels like once you hit that radius of the aim assist bubble, it is kind of hard to break, and you must be doing something certainly wrong not to keep on target. But that drag feeling that you get when you're aiming at someone also has its disadvantages when coming up against multiple enemies at a time, because your aim could be too steady on the enemy that isn't shooting at you, meaning that you miss the opportunity to get a multi-kill, because instead of killing the immediate threat that's shooting at you that's gonna kill you, you shot at the person that didn't even know. Not to say that you couldn't move to the right target, it's just that it takes a little bit more effort to actually get there, especially when moving, because in Splitgate you definitely feel that lock effect a lot more when you're actually moving faster. In the majority of games that I was playing with cross-platform off, I was actually still the lead fragger using the controller, and I definitely believe that this is because of the shooting consistency, and I do believe actually it's because of how powerful the aim assist is. Now sure, yes, I am not the very best player on Splitgate, there are people much better than me. I have an average KD of like 2. It's not the very best, it's not the most elite, but it's certainly not bad considering that the lobbies that I do get into are real players, and a lot of them are very decent at aiming. But it does, to me personally, speak volume that I can still be a top fragger, that I can still have so much influence in, say, a team deathmatch when going up against people using keyboard and mouse. And my big concern in some places where I do outmatch someone in terms of skill, those gunfights aren't even close. It's almost like I've eliminated them before they've even managed to get a few shots off. Another thing that I did notice when playing actually with crossplay off is that the quality of the servers were questionable. Never before on Splitgate have I felt lag the way that I did. Have I ever felt the kind of stutteriness of the game? So it does really seem like they are putting the focus, the concentration on the cross-platform side of the game. And although I've talked about this subject and I'm saying that the aim assist is actually too powerful, I also have to highlight and go out my way in saying that Splitgate has done a much better job at implementing crossplay than even AAA titles such as COD. And I also want to highlight that this game isn't the only, well, culprit of doing this kind of thing. It might just be a little bit more noticeable in this game because of the TTK, which is time to kill. Again, as someone that does use both keyboard and mouse as well as controller, I do believe that both of them do have their advantages. It's really more about the focus of the devs actually concentrating on the disadvantages of one and not compensating the other, and I think that's where people feel like they're robbed. Again though, if you enjoy using the controller, then fair enough. On the other hand, if you would never pick up a controller to play FPS, then fair enough too. Each to their own. I don't play games to be ultra competitive anymore. I mainly play games nowadays for fun and to do reviews on them, but I can see someone who is maybe a lower level player who does struggle sometimes with tracking why this would actually frustrate them. At the end of the day, it is an FPS game, it is about getting shots on and staying consistent. Anyway, that has just been some of my honest thoughts on this controversial subject. Let me know down in the comments, do you think the aim assist is too powerful in Splitgate? Do you think the devs of Splitgate are doing too much to make up for the disadvantages of using a controller? What do you think should be done to improve the user experience for us players that do enjoy Splitgate? Because I really do enjoy it too. I know a lot of the subscriber base on my channel are keyboard and mouse players. We do have a few controller players too, so it'd be interesting to see the diversity of opinion. Again, I believe that you should be playing the way that you feel comfortable with, and I'm not arguing against aim assist within crossplay games. That is definitely not my intention. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video today, please smash that like button. Get subscribed to the channel if you are new. With that said, I have been Tech from Tech Evolved, and I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream.